like a buttercup. You're a Barbie doll. Show them all what I'm made of. Strut down the hall. Won't stop till I get enough.
All right, so you sent over a whole stack of articles about that Chargers game.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing you're looking for the real story behind that 40-7 beatdown.
Right.
They put on the Patriots. Not just like the score, but what made this win so decisive.
Yeah. Well, what's so fascinating here is we have basically a multi-layered cake
Oh, wow.
of football analysis.
Yeah.
We've got the play-by-play, we've got deep dives into individual players,
Right.
and even some articles looking at the team culture.
Okay.
This is going to be a fun one.
Yeah, it is fun when a team just clicks like that.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, 40-7 against the Patriots.
Oh, yeah.
That's a statement win, clinching them a playoff spot in style.
It really is. And,
Yeah.
and this wasn't just outscoring them. It was the way they did it.
Right.
The Chargers were in control offensively and defensively the entire game.
Right.
The Patriots just couldn't get anything going.
So let's talk standouts.
Yeah.
Herbert, 281 passing yards, 3 touchdowns.
Right.
Almost like another day at the office for him at this point.
You know, Herbert's amazing, sure. But even amidst that, other players shone.
Okay.
Think about rookie Lad McConkey.
Oh, yeah.
2 touchdowns,
Yeah.
and he passed 1,000 receiving yards for the season.
Wow.
That kid is on fire.
He is.
Yeah.
And on defense, Derwin James Jr. was a monster. 2 sacks on crucial 4th downs.
Ooh, absolutely.
That's shutting down the Patriots' hopes right there.
Right there, yeah. And let's not forget the comeback kid.
Oh, yeah.
J.K. Dobbins scores a touchdown in his first game back after injury.
Right.
Talk about mental toughness.
Yeah. So we know the Chargers were dominant,
Yeah.
but the score only tells part of the story, right?
Right.
These articles dive into the why behind the win.
Exactly.
And it gets really interesting when you look at Coach Harbaugh.
Yeah, Dylan Hernandez's article really nails it.
Yeah.
It's not just that Harbaugh's brought in talent. He's cultivated this whole culture of resilience.
Right.
Remember that comeback against the Broncos a few weeks
Yeah.
back? This team does not give up.
They don't. And that anecdote about Harbaugh telling Herbert and James to treat the game like pickup basketball
I know.
was brilliant.
Oh, it's so good.
Imagine telling your star players to just relax and have fun
Yeah.
in a high-pressure situation, like a playoff game
Yeah, it's amazing.
against the Patriots.
Well, and that relaxed focus is exactly what we saw against the Patriots.
Yeah.
It wasn't just talent. It was this almost zen-like control
Right.
they had throughout the entire game.
So a coach's philosophy can really have that big of an impact on the field.
Oh, yeah.
It's not just about plays, it's about the mental game.
It's huge. It's absolutely huge. The teams with the strongest mental game
Right.
are often the ones who rise to the top, especially when things get tough.
Yeah.
And speaking of tough, let's talk about the injury roller coaster this team's been on.
Oh, yeah.
Dobbins' return was a huge boost,
Right.
but it wasn't all good news, was it?
Right. It's that bittersweet reality of football.
Yeah.
Gus Edwards goes down with an ankle injury, and suddenly that running back depth takes a hit.
Yeah.
It's a reminder of how quickly things can change in this sport.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You've got one guy celebrating a comeback,
Right.
while another faces a setback.
Right.
This is the constant challenge for coaches, adapting strategies on the fly.
Right.
This is why depth is so important,
Especially going into the playoffs.
especially going into the playoffs, and they took a few more hits.
Mhm.
Elijah Molden was carted off with a knee injury,
Yeah.
and Joshua Palmer hurt his heel.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, victory came at a price.
Okay, enough with the doom and gloom.
Okay.
Let's get back to those high points.
Okay.
Lad McConkey.
Yes,
This rookie's performance was flat out historic.
he was electric.
Yeah.
2 touchdowns, including that amazing 40-yarder.
Oh, yeah.
And with that, he shattered the Chargers' rookie receiving record,
Wow.
racking up 1,054 yards for the season. This kid is the real deal.
Yeah, and that moment when he gave the touchdown ball to his aunt in the stands.
Oh, I know.
Pure heart.
Yeah.
It's those personal touches that remind us these guys are playing for more than just themselves.
Absolutely. And this kind of breakout performance from a rookie,
Yeah.
it's a huge energy boost for the team and the fans.
For sure.
It makes you excited about the future of the Chargers.
Speaking of exciting and unexpected, did you see that free kick field goal
I know.
by Cameron Dicker?
What?
The first one since 1976?
I know.
Talk about pulling something out of the history books.
Most fans probably didn't even know that was still a legal play.
Right.
It was like watching a football time capsule get opened up right there on the field.
Yeah.
And for Dicker to then whip out a Ray Wershing football card,
I know.
paying tribute to the last guy to do it classic.
And the Spanos family flying Wershing in to meet the team.
I love it.
That shows you how much this rare achievement resonated with them.
It's amazing how one play can connect different areas of a team like that.
For sure.
It adds this whole other layer of meaning to the victory.
Right. So we've covered a lot about this single game.
We have.
But what does it all mean for the Chargers moving forward?
Right.
They're now in the hunt for their third 10-win season in the past 15 years.
Yep.
Diane Henley said it best. We can't lose anymore anyway.
Yep.
That's the playoff mentality right there. Do or die.
Right.
But before we get too deep into playoffs,
Yeah.
are there any other standout details from these articles that we need to touch on?
You know, there is one thing.
Okay.
These articles actually spend a good amount of time
Okay.
analyzing Coach Harbaugh's approach.
Okay.
And it goes beyond just telling his players to relax.
Right.
He has very specific strategies for instilling that comeback mentality he's known for.
Right.
We should probably unpack that a bit more.
Okay.
Because it might be key to understanding their playoff chances. You're right. Coach Harbaugh's strategies deserve a closer look.
One thing that stood out to me from these articles is his emphasis on turning negative situations into learning experiences. He doesn't dwell on mistakes. He uses them to teach and empower his players.
So it's not about avoiding mistakes altogether.
No, it's about how you react to them.
Exactly. He encourages his players to embrace the challenge, to see setbacks as opportunities for growth. It's this we learn, we adapt, we overcome kind of mentality.
That seems to fit perfectly with that pickup basketball anecdote, right?
Yeah.
It's all about staying loose, adapting to the situation, and trusting your instincts.
It's a brilliant approach, especially for a young team like the Chargers. It takes the pressure off and allows them to play with more freedom and creativity.
And you can see that freedom in the way they're playing, right? It's not just about executing plays, it's about making plays, about taking risks and trusting each other.
It's like they've tapped into a new level of confidence and self-belief, and that's a dangerous combination for any opponent, especially come playoff time.
So we've got a team firing on all cylinders, a coach who's a master at fostering resilience.
All right.
But let's not forget, the playoffs are a different beast.
Oh, yeah.
The pressure's higher, the competition's tougher, and the margin for error is razor thin.
You're not wrong. It's not just about talent anymore. It's about grit, about mental toughness, about being able to weather the storms that inevitably come in the playoffs. And let's be real, the Chargers have some potential weaknesses that could be exposed under that kind of pressure.
Like those injuries we talked about, losing
Yeah.
a key player like Gus Edwards in the run game,
Yeah.
that's a blow.
It definitely puts more pressure on Herbert in the passing game. They'll need to be even sharper, even more efficient, especially against some of those top-tier defenses in the playoffs.
And let's not forget the defensive injuries, Molden and Palmer being out, that could create some vulnerabilities, especially considering who they might be up against in the playoffs.
Right. So let's play devil's advocate for a moment and talk about potential playoff opponents.
Yeah.
How about we start with the Chiefs? Mahomes is always a nightmare to face, and their offense can just explode at any moment.
They did beat them earlier in the season, but it is a nail-biter. That could have gone either way.
Exactly. The Chargers will need to be at their absolute best if they want to repeat that victory. And then you've got the Bills, another powerhouse. Their defense is a wall, and Josh Allen is a dual-threat quarterback who can tear you apart both through the air and on the ground.
Containing Allen, that's the key. He can make something out of nothing, extend plays, and turn a broken play into a touchdown.
Yeah.
It's going to be a real test for the Chargers defense.
And we can't forget the defending champs, the Bengals. Joe Burrow is as clutch as they come, and their receiving core is stacked. They've got experienced talent, and they know how to win when it matters most.
Out of all these potential opponents, who do you think poses the biggest threat to the Chargers? What are the matchups that worry you the most?
Honestly, it's hard to pick just one. Each team brings its own unique set of challenges.
Yeah.
But if I had to choose, I'd say the Bills. Their defense is just so suffocating, and Josh Allen is a matchup nightmare for any team.
Okay, so lots of potential hurdles on the road to a championship. But let's flip the script for a moment. We've talked about the challenges. Now let's talk about the Chargers' strengths.
Yeah.
What makes you believe they have what it takes to make a deep playoff run?
Well, I think it all comes back to that belief we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
The Chargers seem to have this unshakable confidence, and that starts at the top with Coach Harbaugh. He's instilled this winning culture, this mentality that they can compete with anyone. And that's incredibly valuable in the playoffs.
And that belief extends beyond the coach, right? You can see it in the players and the way they interact with each other and the way they carry themselves on the field.
Absolutely. It's like they finally realize their potential and they're not afraid to embrace it.
Yeah.
You've got guys like Herbert and James leading the charge, veterans like Keenan Allen setting the tone, and young guns like McConkey bringing the energy. It's a great mix of experience and youthful exuberance.
And you can't underestimate the power of momentum, right? They're coming into the playoffs on a high, riding a wave of success, and that can be a huge psychological advantage.
Momentum is a real thing in sports, and the Chargers have it in spades right now. They're playing with a swagger, a confidence that can be contagious.
It's interesting because this team has faced its fair share of adversity over the years, right? Injuries, coaching changes, they've been through it all. But they've come out the other side stronger, more resilient, and more united.
It's like all those challenges have forged them into the team they are today. They've learned from their mistakes, they've grown from their setbacks, and they've developed a deep sense of camaraderie.
You know, this whole conversation about resilience and belief, it makes me think about the city of Los Angeles. This city has a history of embracing underdog stories, of rallying behind teams that defy the odds.
You're right, there's a special kind of energy in LA, a belief that anything is possible. And the Chargers, with their exciting brand of football and their never-say-die attitude, they seem to embody that spirit perfectly.
They're not just a team. They're a reflection of the city itself. A city that's constantly evolving, constantly pushing boundaries, and always striving for greatness.
And the fans are a huge part of that equation.
Yeah.
Chargers fans have been through a lot over the years, but they've remained loyal, they've remained passionate, and they're hungry for a championship.
And you can bet they'll be bringing the noise in the playoffs. That home field advantage, that energy from the crowd, it can be a real game changer.
It can give the team an extra boost, an extra edge when they need it most. So we've talked about the challenges, we've talked about the belief, we've talked about the city, but let's get down to it. What do you think? Can the Chargers actually win it all?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? They've certainly got the talent, the coaching, and the momentum, but the playoffs are unpredictable. Anything can happen. What's your gut feeling?
You know, I'm not one for making bold predictions, but there's something special about this team. They've got that it factor, that intangible quality that separates champions from contenders. And if they can stay healthy and maintain this level of play, I wouldn't be surprised to see them hoisting the Lombardi Trophy. But it won't be easy.
It's going to be a battle every step of the way, but that's what makes the playoffs so compelling, right? The drama, the intensity, the unpredictability. It's all on the line and anything is possible.
And the Chargers, with their high-flying offense, their stifling defense, and their unwavering belief, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with. But there's one more layer to this story that we need to explore, one that goes beyond this season, beyond this playoff run.
You're talking about the future, what this team's building, the legacy they're creating.
Exactly. This isn't just about one season. It's about the long game. It's about building a sustainable winning culture, a team that can compete for championships year after year. And that's what we're going to dive into in the final part of our deep dive.
Okay, so we've talked about the Chargers' incredible run this season, the challenges they'll face in the playoffs, and that undeniable buzz they've created in LA. But now let's shift gears and look at the bigger picture, the long game. Can they turn this momentum into a dynasty?
That's the question every Chargers fan is asking right now. And to answer it, we need to look beyond the hype and analyze the foundation they've built. Do they have the pieces in place to sustain this level of success for years to come?
All right, let's break it down. Let's start with the roster. Herbert, James Allen, Eckler McConkey. That's a pretty impressive core group of players.
It's not just impressive. It's young Herbert's only in his 4th season. James in his 6th, McConkey a rookie. This is a group that could potentially dominate for a decade or more if they stay healthy and keep developing.
And that's the key to building a dynasty, right?
Yeah.
A core group that grows and evolves together, building that chemistry and that shared experience of winning.
Exactly. But it's not just about the stars. Look at the depth the Chargers have built. They've drafted well in recent years, made some smart free agent acquisitions. This roster is built to last not just for a single season.
But talent alone isn't enough. You need the right leadership, the right coaching to mold those individuals into a cohesive unit.
And in Coach Harbaugh, it seems like they've struck gold. He's not just a brilliant strategist, he's a culture builder. He's instilled a winning mentality, a sense of discipline and accountability, but he's also a player's coach, someone who knows how to connect with his guys and get the best out of them.
That balance of authority and empathy is rare, but it's essential for building a team that's both tough and tight-knit. And it's not just Harbaugh. He's surrounded himself with a top-notch coaching staff, guys who are known for their player development skills.
They're creating an environment where players can thrive, reach their full potential. And that's crucial for long-term success. Okay, so we've got the talent, we've got the coaching. What about the front office, the organizational structure? Do they have the stability and vision to support a championship caliber team?
That's where things get a little trickier. The Chargers have had their share of ups and downs, moving cities, ownership changes. Those things can disrupt a team's momentum.
You're right, those transitions aren't easy. But it seems like things have stabilized in recent years. The Spanos family seems committed to building a winner in LA.
Yeah.
They've invested in the team-upgraded facilities, made smart front office hires.
It feels like they're laying the groundwork for a successful future, creating that stable environment that allows a team to flourish.
And that stability is crucial. It attracts and retains top talent, both on and off the field. It creates a sense of continuity, a belief that everyone is working towards the same goal.
So taking all of this into account, the talent, the coaching, the organizational structure, what's your verdict? Do the Chargers have what it takes to build a dynasty?
It's still early. Dynasties aren't built overnight. It takes years of sustained success, smart drafting savvy free agency moves, and a little bit of luck along the way. But I'll say this, the Chargers are on the right track. They have the pieces in place. Now it's about execution, staying focused on the long game and building on the foundation they've created.
It's exciting to think about the possibilities, right? Imagine the Chargers hoisting the Lombardi Trophy, bringing a championship to LA, cementing their place in the city's sporting history.
It would be a storybook ending to their journey back to LA. But even if they don't win it all this year, the future is bright. They've got the talent, the coaching, and the organizational stability to compete for championships for years to come.
And that's what makes this team so fascinating to follow. It's not just about the wins and losses. It's about the journey, the story they're writing. They're building something special in LA, something that could have a lasting impact on the city and its fans.
And that's the beauty of sports, isn't it? It's about more than just the game itself. It's about the stories, the emotions, the connections it creates. And the Chargers, with their young, exciting team and their never-say-die attitude, they're writing a compelling story, one that's worth paying attention to. Well, there you have it. We've gone deep on the Chargers, from that dominant win against the Patriots to their long-term prospects as a potential dynasty. We've covered a lot of ground, analyzed the data, and shared our insights. Hopefully, you've come away with a deeper understanding of this team and their potential.
It's been a pleasure diving deep with you. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and remember, the most fascinating stories are often the ones that unfold right in front of our eyes.
Sound the alarm. I'm coming up. We'll have a ball. I'm sweet like a buttercup. You're Bobby doll. Show them all what I'm made of.